We're going to start with the Houston Dynamo. Ben Olsen brings Benny Ball to the
Oh
big
boy,
state of
here we
Texas
go.
after finishing 13th in the West on 36 points. It is time for a change in Houston. Houston has not made the playoffs since 2017. It was time for another change. They made a change, it didn't work. They're going to change it again. Connor, talk to me about what shape you think they might come out in 2023, and maybe give me a starting
You're
11 you
just
would
gonna
kind of expect.
you're gonna just come out and ask me the most impossible question right off the start. You think I could predict Penny Ball's formation? Like that's impossible.
We are professional MLS podcasters. That is our job. That is our responsibility. And it is what we are going to do.
All right, I'll be honest with you. I was looking through this team yesterday, and out of all of the teams that we prepared today, this is probably the one that I feel the most unsure about in terms of formation. I really don't know how this team is going to line up because they had an insane amount of turnover to guys who were getting like significant minutes last season. Right now, I just put them in a 4-2-3-1. I feel like that's always a safe formation that you can kind of move guys around in. My only issue with this formation is they're kind of thin on wingers. Um, but in my 4-2-3-1, my starting 11 right now is Steve Clark in goal. Uh, from I guess so. I got Brad Smith at left back, Hadebe and Daniel Steres at center back, and Franco Escobar at right back. The two midfielders in front of them starting, I have Carrasquilla and Hector Herrera, and then the three attackers in front of them, I've got Thor Olferson, Amine Bassi, and Ivan Franco, and then up top I've got Sebastian Ferreira. Totally open to switching things around. Like I think Thor Olferson, I'm pretty sure is listed as an like a cam on transfer market, but I did see that he played a little bit on the left side, so I threw him out there. But um, this team was tough to set up how I think they were gonna start, at least like week one.
Yeah, this was the second hardest for me. I think there's another team that had so many different options, and we'll talk about them. I also had him in 4-2-3-1. I went back to Ben Olsen's last year in DC. 4-2-3-1 seemed to be his preferred shape, so I assumed that he would go with it here. My back four was the same, including the goalkeeper. I put Artur in for Carrasquilla. Um, I just think he's a better holding mid next to Herrera, who can then turn into more of a 6-8 and go forward. I think you'd more likely see Herrera and Carrasquilla rotate than Artur and Carrasquilla. But my three in front of them, Ivan Franco, Bassi as a cam, and then I got Corey Baird as well. He played out on the wing in RSL. I agree with you. They're a little short on wingers, um, but they also really don't have a super reliable second option at striker. So that going 4-4-2 or going diamond midfield, things like that would be a little tough for them. Um, and I also have Ferreira up top. I think I think the team is better than it was last year, but I still think it's got a long way to go. Specifically because of in my opinion, their biggest addition being Franco Escobar. Um, you've got a team now that has a player who won two MLS Cup championships, one Supporter Shield, one U.S. Open Cup, and one Campeones Cup. The dude has won basically everything you can um, as an MLS player, and I think that translates well to Houston. Um, maybe more of a hope than a think, but definitely excited to see how that works.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I know Franco Escobar better than probably most other MLS fans because I got to watch him for a few seasons, and he is, I would say, incredibly underrated. I think he brings a lot to the back line, especially defensively. I think he's really solid. He's versatile. You can slide him in at center back if you need to, because right now they are very, very thin at center back. Um, but he can also start on the right for you. And if he starts out on the right, they have I would say a pretty strong back line. Definitely not the best. You could definitely improve, but it's definitely a strong back line. My top signing for them, I'm gonna go Ivan Franco. I think he showed some good promise in Paraguay before he moved over here. Um, I think he can be that guy that's like that young South American to kind of raise his level here in MLS and then potentially get a move somewhere else. I think it's going to be somewhat tough with this Houston team that looks okay on paper. But I really look back to his season when he was only 18 years old and he made 37 starts for Libertad in Paraguay and he had 11 goals and 5 assists, which is insanely good output for someone who's 18. So I think if he can kind of find that form again here in Houston, I think he could be an immense signing for them.
Yeah, absolutely agree. One thing I'm taking note of here is the youth of this team. This looks like a very Red Bull team. The majority of their big players are sub 24. I mean, you got Herrera in there who's 32, Bossie's 25, and then you got Corey Barrett at 23 and Achara at 25. Everybody else is sub 22 in the as you move forward. Um, got Esquija's at 24 and Artur's 26. I mean, your backline's a little bit older, but yeah, this is a super young team. So that's something to keep in mind, and that's why I think Escobar's also a really good addition because it gives a little bit of veteran leadership as well. But they also did lose a lot. You mentioned the turnover. Fafa Picault, their top scorer in 2021, their third top scorer in 2022. One of the really lone bright spots in this Houston attack. It's going to be tough to replace him, I think. Franco is probably going to be close to it, but we know that transition between MLS and other clubs and other leagues is tough. So taking a guy who scored 20 something goals over 2 years and replacing him with young, promising potential is good on paper. But if it doesn't translate, you're looking at another tough year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this list of players. I think out of the teams that we're talking about today, Houston has lost the most. And I'm not saying that that's the wrong direction for them to go. I mean, the team wasn't doing well, and I think it's good that they're turning that over and trying something new. But I mean, they lost a lot of guys that were in and around that squad last season, like Darwin Soren, Fafa Picault, Tim Parker, Darwin Quintero, Memo Rodriguez, Zeka, Matthias Vera, Adam Lundqvist. I mean, that's a lot of players that not only were in the squad last year, but have been with the team for years. So that's a lot of turnover. It's going to take some time for this team to gel. Um, are we still planning to talk about biggest loss?
That was my biggest loss. So I'm hoping to know what your
Okay.
biggest loss is.
Yeah, I was also going to go Fafa Pico. I think considering how thin they are on the wings and the output that he was able to produce for a weak Houston team, I think it's going to, like you said, be really tough to replace his output.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really, really interested to see how Amine Bassi translates into this team. He's my player to watch. Um, the last time Houston had a person who was playing as a true number 10, like a Sasha question, just get the ball and set up the striker, get the ball, set up the striker. Um, I'll let you guess. Do you know who the last person to fill that role was for them properly
For Houston or for Red Bull?
for Houston?
In the number 10 spot?
Yep. This is testing your ball knowledge here. We'll see how you do.
I
I'll
can
give you a
really only
hint.
think of like
2018. 2018.
thinking of like Houston wingers. I'm blanking on who they had in the middle. I don't know. I can't think of it right now.
Tomas Martinez.
Nah, I never would have guessed that.
Yeah. So Tomas Martinez in 2018 was the last time that they played with a true
Oh,
number.
yes, yes. Okay. I
Yeah.
had no idea what I didn't know you said Tomas. I could not hear that at all. I thought you said like Umas Martinez. I was like, nope, never heard of him.
Check your
Okay,
ears,
I know who you're
bro.
talking about now. It's
Tomas,
clicking.
yeah, Tomas Martinez was the last time that they had a true number 10 in this team. They haven't made the playoffs since 2017. Is there a direct correlation there? I mean, come
I
on,
don't know.
right? So if Bossy can turn into this true number 10, I think that they could make a better run at it. Do I think that they have all the pieces to do it right now? No. But having somebody to fill that role for the first time in 5 years is going to be it's going to be a new Houston team. It's going to be different for sure.
My player to watch this season for them, Sebastian Ferreira up top. I think he has shown enough quality that he can be like one of those young South American strikers that comes over here and blows up. I think he was able to put up like pretty solid numbers last year without getting like support. So if Amine Basse comes in and does the things that you're talking about, I think that could absolutely unleash Sebastian Ferreira. Um, and he can really have a strong season. And I think, that will help Houston a ton because I look around the team and other than him, maybe Corey Baird, I don't really see a lot of other like goal scorers. I think there's a lot of playmakers, but I think the goals are going to come through Sebastian Ferreira. So I think he's my one to watch. And I think if the guys behind him are setting him up for chances, I think he's going to be a breakout player this year.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I agree with that as well. I was kind of hoping you would pick the player who was there as the one to watch, and then I would combo with the breakout player, like the new signing or the young guy. So good thing we're on the same wavelength there.
Yep.
If I had to ask one question to this team right now, it's very, very simple, and I'm sure you got the same one. What does a Ben Olsen Houston look like? What does this team? I mean, are we looking at Ivan Franco playing as a left wing back? Is that what we're doing here?
We
I don't know.
could. We
I
could.
would I'd love it. I'd love to see this team go full Benny ball. But um, he's been out of the game 2 years. He's got a fairly decently talented roster. I don't think that we can look at the starting 11 and be like, oh, this team isn't on paper, capable. Brad Smith and Escobar, two great additions. Artur is going to be very, very good for them. And Ferreira is a young, exciting striker. So how high can he get them up that table in year one with a very, very young team, right? That's my question.
Am I meant to answer that question or?
Nope. I just want you to ask. This is an open-ended it's for the viewers, right? We're gonna post it and we're gonna ask them to answer it themselves.
Okay. Here's my question. I hinted at it before. This team had an absolute ton of turnover. Can they be successful with this much turnover? I'm seeing a lot of new faces in this team. I mean, right now in my starting 11, I have 4 new players slotted in there with Bassi, Franco, Smith, and Escobar. A lot of familiar old faces that were in and around the team year in, year out are gone now. Can they still be successful with all that turnover? Are there going to be too many growing pains for them to be successful this season?